represented me forever, and I hate to pay him.
Yeah, well, that's the that's the whole issue there. You don't want to have to pay them.
But it's a matter of principle.
Yeah.
Either the dog or I won are a criminal, according to the citation.
He is asking for Chief Deputy Walton's on and off duties time, which is not relevant. And what you're saying is that it is relevant.
But it had to be, the incident had to be performed in his presence.
Right, or he couldn't have written the ticket.
Well, by law, he couldn't have written the ticket. Now, he could have had it served. If he witnessed it, he could have had it served by another deputy sheriff. That's legal.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the West Virginia Code, according to Arden Curry. But a dog catcher can't do it.
And the defendant has not demonstrated any relevant purpose for this. So when you asked for this, did you give her a reason?
No. There was. It's a motion to produce. Produce the documents.
Well, Janet will have to rule on this, and
right.
If she rules that they're relevant, then she's going to have to go get them.
And I called the prosecutor's office yesterday, and they said they could only turn over what the sheriff's office gave them. And the sheriff's office...
Wait a minute, I thought that Donna was the chief law enforcement officer. Janice says she's the chief law enforcement officer.
Well, I was told yesterday by, I don't know who I talked to in her office. She was, I think she had one of her kids were sick or something.
Yeah.
And she wasn't working yesterday. But they can only produce what the sheriff's office gives them. And that's what the sheriff's office gave them.
Well, went on to say, the defendant also wants a list of all deputies for Pocahontas County prior to March 22nd, which is not relative. Well, I think it is relative because you're trying to find out about Josh Vaughn. Is he a law officer or not?
Right.
I'm going to be looking for you tomorrow in the oath book, and if he did not take an oath of office as dog warden,
well, he can't.
I'll testify for you.
Let me tell you something. Sheriff Janice can't create a militia as he's trying to do.
I know that's what he's trying to do.
He's trying to create a militia. By God, you don't pay a deputy's under civil service.
He's got had 11 deputies at one time.
A deputy sheriff is covered by civil service.
Yeah.
He's not covered by civil service. He's paid $8 an hour.
Right. That's right. I never thought about that. He's no different than no sheriff's office.
He's no different than if you go to Dave Walton's house tonight and tell him that I did something wrong. Dave Walton cannot write me a ticket. It was not performed in his presence.
Right.
Now you can go down and file a criminal complaint personally.
Mm-hmm. But it has to be investigated.
It has to be investigated. Now, I'm not going to, obviously I'm being totally upfront. One of my son's dogs did kill a chicken. I paid the $15 and tied the dog up. It's been tied up ever since.
Yeah.
And the German Shepherd doesn't kill chickens.
And that was last year.
Yeah, huh?
That was last year that the dog had done that.
Right. Well, no, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was last year.
Was it?
Back in October, wasn't it?
See, what we worked with down there in Marlington with the coffee shop lady, they tried to give one of the state cops wrote her a ticket. He wrote her a ticket at 9:30 at night. The ordinance wasn't even in effect. And the second thing was, he didn't see her parked illegally during the time of the thing. So he couldn't write her a ticket. And you know what? They threw that out.
I'm sure it was Janet. She's the only one that doesn't go with the police officers.
Yeah, Janet has got courage. That woman,
She doesn't care. She does
Yeah.
what's fair and honest.
I know.
In my mind, anyway.
well, I agree with you. Now, the defendant also wants the 9/11 center's recordings and logs. Well, that's very important.
How do you know when somebody's working?
Right. The defendant can subpoena these records and are not considered within the dominion and control of the state. The state will provide what it has in its possession. So is she trying to say that it was a matter of not issuing a subpoena?
Well,
You didn't have to do a subpoena. You have to pay for those subpoenas, don't you?
yes.
You just asked for it. I know I don't issue a subpoena whenever I want. I do exactly what you did. I submit a motion. And I expect everything I asked in that emotion to be delivered. And if it's not delivered, they got to throw it out.
Well, it's not delivered.
Either do it by the law or not.
Right.
You don't have to do it by a subpoena. This is the state. They have to give you. They're required, Gary, to give you all the material that will show that you are innocent.
How do I prove my case without knowing that Dave Walton was off duty
I know.
at the time of the ticket?
Jan will see through that. Well, I believe we've pretty well worked through this.
Yeah, it's all
What time is your hearing? I want to be there.
9:30 in the morning.
On Thursday morning. Norman Alderman to be there. I was at a hearing the other day.
I appreciate it. Plus, you're going to pick up some other information for me.
Yeah. I'll have information and I will testify for you. When it comes to that oath book, I'm going to look at it. I'm going to make a copy of it. I'll have a copy made. I'll have a copy made and certified, Gary. And it will show whether or not. Now, of course, if he took his oath of office, that points me.
For a law enforcement officer.
Yeah.
Not a dog warden.
Yep.
Dog warden's job's totally different from a law enforcement officer.
Oh, yeah. They have to be trained for one thing.
Yeah.
Well, they're both supposed to be trained, but he's supposed to have spatial training. I kind of have a feeling that you bringing this up is going to possibly end Mr. Vaughn's career in dog enforcement.
Well, maybe not. I don't want to cause anybody their job.
No.
You know, but Mr. Vaughn is related. Well, I don't know whether they're married or not, but my understanding is that he and Robin, whatever her last name is,
I don't know what it is currently. I just know that she helped the sheriff along with the 8 other people to come and raid my home, so I don't have real good feelings toward Robin.
Right. Well, I've always liked Robin.
Yeah.
I always thought Robin really was the best one of them. And Robin has not been involved.
Right.
To the best of my knowledge, she's not been involved in any of this.
But if I think what you're suggesting is that Josh has some relationship to Robin.
Right. Who is
Sherman's sister.
Who is Sherman's
Who is
sister?
Sherman's sister? The one that made the complaint, right?
Right.
Well, just a little Peyton place, isn't it?
Just a little.